He is speaking live right now in Newport Richie. Let's listen in.
Growing economy. Do you know why? Why I have that? Because I've done it. Because I've actually accomplished it. The Democrats want to raise taxes. We all know that, right? Well, they got that big sign up there. It says change. You know the change they want to make? They want to take a change from your pocket. You got it. They want to take the change from your pocket. They want to raise taxes. They promise to raise taxes. That's a promise I believe. I trust they're going to keep that promise. I think they are going to keep the promise to raise taxes. Could be 20%, could be 30%. I think it would be a disaster for the growth of our economy. It would put that lid on so these young people couldn't dream those great dreams, because a society that is too heavily taxed is a society that doesn't have a lot of growth. But even compared to the Republicans, I have the boldest tax reduction plan, and it's because it comes out of my experience. One of my opponents didn't support the Bush tax cuts in 2001, 2003. I respect him. He is a really good man. He's a good friend of mine. We just have a disagreement on this issue. And I think it comes from the fact that he hasn't had the kind of experiences that I've had, running America's largest city, being involved with America's 17th largest economy, running its second or third largest government. When you have that experience, when you have that executive experience, you have to make decisions, and decisions have consequences. Let me tell you a little story, and it'll explain why I feel so strongly about tax reductions and why some of my opponents maybe don't have that same fervor and that same understanding. Because I supported the Bush tax cuts from the very beginning. And I supported them because I had done things like that in the past. When I became mayor of New York City, there was this big, big deficit, and the economy was in terrible shape. And they handed me a plan, and the plan was to raise taxes. And do you know what I did? He's exactly right. Say it again. I threw it in the garbage. That's exactly right. I threw it in the garbage. And I literally and figuratively. And I did that because that was part of the whole cycle. That's what they've been doing for 20 or 30 years or 40 years. Need more revenues, raise taxes. Need more revenues, raise taxes. Need more revenues, raise taxes. What I realized was that some taxes are anti-competitive. They actually cost you money. They cost you jobs. The whole idea of taxing too much in order to get revenues, if you go beyond a certain point, it's counterproductive. You get less revenues. Back in the 80s, the federal government lifted the capital gains tax from 20 to 28%. The federal government lost $45 million. Lost money because it was priced too high. So I cut taxes. I'll give you two examples. I cut the income tax rate by 24%. I was collecting 48% more revenues with the lower tax than with the higher tax. Why? How can you do that? Because more people were working, more people had jobs that paid more money. We were growing the private sector. That's the engine of America, not the central government. Our country is not great because of its central government. Sometimes people that are in Washington too long. Sometimes people that are in state capitals too long. They think it's about the central government. They can have the plans to straighten things out for you. Beware of central governments that have plans to straighten things out for you. It works exactly the other way around. You have the plans. And the central government and the state governments and the governments have to give you the field, a fair, honest, and decent field in which to play out those plans. That's why tax reductions work. That's why I was able to reduce it by 24% and get 48% more revenues. That's why I was able to reduce the hotel occupancy tax by 33% and get $100 million more. That's why the Bush tax cuts that I supported worked to bring more revenues in. That's why if we cut taxes right now the way I propose, we will revive this economy. Not every tax. You can't cut every tax and make money. You've got to cut the anti-competitive ones. Cut the corporate tax, 35%. Bring it down to 25%. We'll have more jobs in America. We'll have more Americans working. I don't know where my opponents stand on this, but they should have to take a position on this. We should give the death penalty to the death tax. Now, I'm going to tell you why. That's a double tax. You pay taxes all your life, you die, and then the government takes away 55% of your estate from your family. Now, the government is going to give us a break. I want you just to listen to this, because this may give you an indication why we need somebody in Washington that hasn't been breathing Washington air for too long. But just see if this doesn't make the point. The inheritance tax, the death tax, is going to go down to 45% in 2009. In 2010, it's going to be 0. No death tax. In 2011, it's going to go back to 55%. Why? Why? Woo! Why? Just think of what Washington accomplished. They actually created a tax incentive to die in a particular year.